to give you more of a flavor of the variety of African speculative fiction, we'll have readings from this year's winning stories. But first, a look at this year's winner in the comics category, IYANU Child of Wonder. In the past, we've had some fascinating comics winners. For example, last year, the Drama Queens Collective, a feminist group from Ghana, won the Comics Award. This year's winning comic was published by Unique, an African comics company. Roye Okupe and Godwin Akpan talk about the inspiration behind the winning comic.
I think with IYANU, for me personally, Yoruba history, culture, and mythology is something that I grew up with. I was born and raised in Lagos, Nigeria. I myself am a Yoruba person. So there's a lot of stories, there's a lot of things in our history and in our culture that I've always hoped to see in books, on screen, in the theaters. So for me, when I decided to create IYANU, it was a no-brainer to integrate as much as possible. I will say that this is a fantastical world, even though the name of the place that people like, the existence of the world in IYANU is called Yoruba land. It is our own version of Yoruba land. So there's a lot of liberties that we've taken while we are honoring Yoruba culture itself, and we're doing that in a way that's celebratory of the culture. There are still some things that are fantastical in its nature. So in terms of, things that are, being practiced currently or whatever, there are certain elements, like for instance, in the book, people speak Yoruba. That's something that still goes on, obviously, in this day and age. Even the names of the characters, what the names mean, these things are not edited or anything like that. They are very particular to the book and the culture itself. So in terms of those type of things, we stayed very, very true, to the culture. But as it pertains to fantastical elements, like maybe, IYANU's powers or some of the things that happen in the land, there were a lot of things story-wise that, we had to take liberties on, because at the end of the day, this is a fantastical story. It's a story for a global audience, not just Yoruba or Nigerian people. And that was sort of the guide that we use, is that stay true to the culture, but don't be afraid to, in a fantastical sense, extend things story-wise that can be more, things that people would recognize when they pick up a fantasy book.
So the world of IYANU is a fictitious Yoruba world. Yoruba is a real location in Africa, and there was a lot of history, that we've come to study about, the Yoruba people. And for one thing, I personally drew a lot of inspiration from the cultural history. One of the great references that we wanted to incorporate into the world of IYANU was the walls of Benin. So it is like one of the longest historical wall ever built, even longer than the Great Wall of China. And for me, I felt that was like a mind-blowing revelation to hear that something that was, built here in Africa could surpass the Great Walls of China. So I really wanted us to draw inspiration from that part of history. And so when we did the comic, we used a lot of references. We did play around with pushing the scale and seeing how far we could go with creating an epic scale environment and an epic scale world. But a lot of it was actually built on the foundation of, what Nigerians and what Africans in general are familiar with. As regards the animals, we made sure to stay true to the culture. So the only thing we did was to add the fantastical element to these animals. They are not strange animals, they are animals we could see, but adding that fantasy aspect to them gives them a completely different flavor. And I think that's one of the beauty that anybody who reads our comic is going to enjoy.
Dark Horse, they published volume 1 in last year, September, I believe. Volume 1 was released. Volume 2 will be coming out, in September 13th. So, Dark Horse has been fully behind IYANU. In terms of volume 1 and volume 2, this is a continuous story. So, volume 2 picks up exactly where we stop in volume 1. So, if you're a fan of IYANU, you're going to be seeing a lot more of the books moving forward. And it's just something that's exciting to see the response from everybody across the globe, not just here in the US or parts of Africa. When it comes to specificity of African culture, it's not just something that's exciting to us Africans. Like people around the world want to, see what we have to offer as it pertains to entertainment, as it pertains to music, as it pertains to movies, TV, animation, comic books. So it's really a great time to be an African creator. And IYANU, I think that's one of the reasons why, apart from it being a great story, it's also one of the reasons why people have embraced it so much. So 2015 was when I unofficially started Unique Studios. Officially, the company was registered in 2016. It's funny. Godwin and I have been working ever since then. He's been very instrumental in helping us get to where we are today. One of the things that a lot of people don't know is that Godwin designed 95% of the covers for all the Unique Studios comics. He's also helped to design a lot of characters for Unique Studios. So he hasn't just worked on IYANU. I know IYANU is his baby, as he likes to call it. I also want to give Gordon a huge shout out and I let people know that this company is just more than Roy. And there's also people like Sukomi Akimboye, Tony Ajetumobi, Ayodele Elegba. There's a lot of Nigerian talents that has helped us get to the point that we are. But yeah, we started in 2016. We had the Dark Horse 10-book deal in 2020, which was very huge for us. It was announced in 2021. And that really opened the door for us into what, we're starting to see now is that some of these books are now getting the attention that's allowing them to take the next step, in IYANU's case, to be an animated series, in the future as well, too. So it's very rewarding to see over the years, our hard work being rewarded, not just like by getting the Nommo award, but even with other things now, like getting to have a huge fan base with Dark Horse, see the work that we've been working on for so long. And the future is very exciting. And it's something that I encourage Unique fans to please continue to support us. Please continue to go out there and grab the books in the stores, because you are the one that has gotten us to this point, and you are the ones that will keep on taking us to the next level.
Thanks so much, Roy, Godwin, and team.